So we want to make sure that when we build a burger and are redirected to the sign up page because we weren't authenticated, that we are then redirected to the checkout page from the authenticate page so that we can continue with the burger checkout. This is actually not that difficult. There are multiple ways of doing that. One way would be to simply store some information in your Redux store. Store the information if we're currently building a burger and reset that whenever the user visits the burger builder page. We're kind of storing this already. Whenever in our actions or in the reducer, in the burger builder reducer, whenever set ingredients is caught, that means the user visited the burger builder, set ingredients, of course resets all ingredients by setting them to the reloaded state, and therefore it is easy to add a new property to our burger builder store, which would be something like building, and that is false initially. Now we can set this building property to true whenever we add or remove an ingredient, so whenever we work on the burger. Let's do that. In add ingredient, we already update our state with ingredients and the total price. Let's now also update the building state to true here. Let's do the same for this scenario here, remove ingredient. Now, when set ingredients is called though, I want to set building to false because we just reloaded the page. We're starting from scratch. We're not building yet. With this new building prop added to the burger builder slice of the state, we can go to our auth page, and there, where we redirect the user after signing in, we should have two different redirects. One to just slash and one to the checkout page, depending on where we need to go. Now, a more dynamic approach, if you need to support different URLs, would be to store the URL in your Redux store, so the path where you want to go to in your Redux store, so that you can dynamically replace it here, or to pass that path as query params through routing. You also learned how to pass and parse query params in this course. Let's do the half measure and store the path in the Redux store, even though in our app we only have one path. So in the auth reducer, because I think it belongs to the auth slice of our state, it is in the end what we want to do after authenticating, I'll add an auth redirect path prop. And by default, that's just a string holding a slash to redirect to the root page. However, we should be able to change this. For that, I first of all need to register a new action. So I'll go to my auth actions file, or to the action types first, and there I'll export a new const set auth redirect path with an equal identifier like this. And I need to add a new action in my auth action creator file now. I'll add it at the bottom here, but the position doesn't matter. This will be a function, of course, and it's the set auth redirect path action creator. It will receive an argument, the path we want to set, and then we want to return the action which should be dispatched here. Now that action should of course be of the type we just created. So the type is imported from action types, and there it's this set auth redirect path. And I'll pass a payload, another property on this object, the path property, which holds the path we receive as an argument. Let's handle this action in the auth reducer now. There I'll add a new function above my reducer function to keep the pattern of having a lean switch case statement. It'll be called set auth redirect path. And there I'll receive state and action, of course. And I want to return an updated state with update object. And I will update this auth redirect path here, this property of my state slice. So auth redirect path will then be set to action path, the path property on the action, because that is what will dispatch here. There will be a path property in our action when it is dispatched. With that, we have our reducer function prepared. Let's now add a case for it. So I'll add a new case in that switch case statement in the auth reducer, where I'll listen to action types set auth redirect path, and then return the updated path when this function gets executed. So now we have a way to set that path Now this set of redirect action we added in the auth action creator file, of course, needs to be dispatched whenever we want to adjust the path. For that, first of all, let's add it to the index.js file to make it available in other files through an export here. And then let's have a look at where we need to change the path. Obviously, in the burger builder, here we are redirecting to auth. And before I do this, I want to change the redirect path away from that auth page. So I'll go down to the bottom to map dispatch to props, and I'll add a new function here, which is onSet redirect path, or onSet auth redirect path, to be very clear about what this does. And this function will dispatch actions set auth redirect path. Now to this action creator, we need to pass the path, and I expect to get this as an input here. So I'll pass it on to the action creator. Now we can use this prop to dispatch this action, and I want to do this right before we actually redirect to the auth page. We could also do it thereafter though. I'll call this props onSet auth redirect path and set it to /checkout, because this is where the user should go thereafter. So now with that, we got our redirect path set up. We also want to set the redirect path to / if the user clicked on the authenticate button in our navigation though. And this is something we can do in the auth container itself. Now we do reach this auth container by pushing it with this push function here. So by loading it as a route. And therefore, if we dispatch the onSet auth redirect path in there, this will always be set whenever we go to the auth page. However, keep in mind that we have one additional piece of information in our store. In the burger builder slice, we have that building information here. That building information is very useful to us, of course. We can use it in the auth container to change the redirect path back if we think that the user is actually not building a burger anymore. So we can simply go to component did mount in this auth container, component did mount, and there I want to dispatch this set redirect path to if we are not building a burger. Otherwise, this path is probably set up correctly. So I need to get two pieces of information. I need to get the information if we are building a burger. So building burger could be the prop name. And I reach out to state, then to the burger builder slice. If you're not sure about the name of the slice, always check your index.js file. There you're combining your reducer and it's this property you're looking for. So burger builder is our slice name. And there we got this building prop. Additionally, we got the auth redirect path here. That's coming from state auth. And now if you have a look at the auth reducer, there we can see it's that auth redirect path property. So that is what I want to bind to my prop here in map state to props. And I also now need to be able to dispatch a change in the redirect path. So I'll add a prop here on set of redirect path and set this equal to a function where we dispatch actions set of redirect path. And now we could receive the path as an argument to this function here and pass it on, or we just hardcode / in here, because if I call this action from within that component, I always want to reset it back to its basic form. So with that, I can now go into my function and adjust it as required. Here where I check if we are authenticated, I'll actually return different redirects. I will bind this to my dynamic property of redirect path, which is bound to the path stored in my Redux store. So of redirect path is the prop name. So here I'll bind this props of redirect path. Now the only thing I have to do is I have to make sure that I actually reset the path if we reach this page whilst not building a burger. And that is what we do in component did mount. Here I'll check if this props building burger is true, or to be precise, if it is not true, and if this props of redirect path is unequal to a slash, because that means we're trying to redirect to checkout even though we're not building a burger. In this case, I want to call on set off redirect path, and I don't need to pass an argument here because we already set this up to always pass slash at the bottom of our component to the action creator here. So now we reset the path whenever we reach the off page without building a burger. Well, there was a lot of work. Let's see if that works. Back in our burger builder, let's first of all reload the app so we're not authenticated. And let's go to the authenticate page and log in. We should be redirected to the root page now. Switch to sign in, submit. This works. Now let's try again. Let's log out, build a burger, very delicious one with just salad. Oh, I can almost taste it. Let's click sign up to order. We go to authenticate. Let's now sign in. We should now reach checkout. And we do. We can check the burger out here. Let's now also see if the burger is still set up correctly. And we can just inspect our state to confirm this. In the burger builder slice, we still got the ingredients there and the price, so we would store the correct burger on our backend. Finally, let's log out, build a burger and click on sign up to order. Now let's not sign in, but go back to burger builder. The burger is reset. Let's inspect our state real quick now. We see that in the off slice, off redirect path is still slash checkout. Let's go back to authenticate now. And now this throws an error. It's not a function. It makes sense. This should be this props on set off redirect path. We're of course accessing this on our props because we set it through map dispatch to props. With that, fix this bug, go back. So let's try this again. Back to the burger builder, build a burger, click on sign up to order. Don't sign in, go back to burger builder and go back to authenticate. And now we see set off redirect was dispatched and it overrode the redirect path. So now if we sign in, we shouldn't reach checkout, even though the last thing we did was build a burger. But now we should reach the front page again. So that's all working fine. Now we do respect the choice of the user and we do forward him to the page which makes the most sense. A lot was achieved with that. Let's next work on the issue, in quotation marks, that if we are logged in and we reload the page, we are logged out. Let's see what we can do about that in the next lecture.